Well, welcome back, you guys. So I've been asked by this a couple times, and I officially have got to a point to where I'm pretty happy on the setup on how the boat is going. So far, I tuned out the stock system to the best of my abilities to my maximum speed of, I personally got was 64 miles an hour, in which, for, the boat, the stock platform, we're going to kind of cover that a little bit in this video here. So, for people that first getting this boat, it's, such a big boat, you don't really think about it until you get it, out of the box onto a table. It's quite big. And so, out of the box, it's okay. And I honestly think they set it up to just kind of be just like a big fun mess around little boat. Nothing's supposed to be like speed racing, speed demon type of boat or anything like that. And they're kind of marketed at 50 miles an hour. Maybe in the best world conditions, best batteries, best everything, best tune. You might get that on the stock propeller, but we're gonna kind of browse over some of the things I've learned with this boat, what I figured out, and there's not a lot of information out there besides like ironclad with a little bit of tuning and kind of getting up to some of that point. But this is what I did, what I kind of been through on the different propellers. And so when I first got the boat here, I watched a lot of videos, regarding it of how it runs, and I noticed one of the big things out of the box, how much the front end of the boat is so bouncy. And then you get any type of good power out of it, you start pushing power, then it just blows over every time. Well, I ran a couple big, boats before already, in the 40, the 50 range already. So I had kind of a general idea. And, talking to a couple other people that I know that have been in the hobby for 20, 30 years, and, got with them, and they, I asked them, I'm like, the trim tabs on the size of this boat, how big are they supposed to be, just to confirm some of my thoughts. And they're like, oh, at least 2.5 to 3 inches. Well, the stock ones are 2 inches, so they're very short for that, but for this boat. So that poses, so what I seen is that because the trim tabs are so short, your leverage point is right here. So basically the trim tabs are not really holding the boat down to like how they're supposed to, because they're just, too short. So they're coming out of the water. So a lot of people, to solve that, you bring them down, which, yes, you can bring them down, but that causes drag, slows you down, and, causes more issues. So, first, as soon as I got this boat, honestly, what I did is propeller, I threw that in the garbage. I already knew what it's going to like, out of the box, already had a couple other propellers lined up, as you can see. I was ready to go. So stock propeller, straight into the garbage. Trim tabs, I didn't even bother with the stock ones. I got these, I'll post a link below in the description where I got these, but these are from Bonzi Sports RC. So there's a stainless trim tab. I did drill a couple holes in the center to allow water flow to come through, and then basically use the stock trim tab adjusters to kind of mock up the holes to get them in line. But after I did that, the boat stayed planted. I was able to run them flush to slightly higher, and I didn't really have any blowovers until, I went to this monster of a motor. But again, my tabs are set, almost 3 millimeters up high, help get the boat out of the water a little bit more, stable. And so now, the boat's faster. I got to retune it, back to the drawing board. It's faster, calmly happen. So, okay, so if you have a stock boat, first things first is, batteries. Have a good set of batteries. SMC makes some really good batteries. I could post a link down below. Going over those, 150C, I run some 8200s. And then you can also do like 9500s or even bigger. This boat is going to need some big batteries and some good batteries. So that, straight off the bat, get some good quality batteries. That'll be helpful. Check out Bonzi Sports for the trim tabs. You will have to modify them, but that's kind of the only option at this time for getting a longer trim tab in there to solve that. But, good batteries, better trim tab. And then if you're still running the stock ESC, stock motor, then like a CNC 5514 should be fine. But I know, if you guys want to push a little bit faster, I got a line of propellers down here, starting off kind of smaller all the way to the bigger. So what I found with the stock ESC stock motor, that ESC is good to about a ABC 2215, which equals out to about a 55 millimeter size propeller. So which will get right in between, that 62 to 63 miles an hour on the stock ESC. That's tuned out nice and kind of running kind of dry and smooth. So which, here is a 2215 right here. So about a 5514 plus or minus a little bit. And so, that guy ran really good. I got about 62 off that propeller. And then, a 1814 3-blade, which I end up getting about 58 with this propeller. It was good propeller. It had some cavitation, but I noticed, there was kind of a little bit of a drag or, extra load with this. And, the ESC, I did not have any cutoffs, but, I felt like I was pushing, the limit on what the current is rated for, 160 amps. So, but if you're running still stock system, CNC 5514 will probably be just fine. Offshore electrics, I haven't seen any through them, but RC Boat Blitz, they have, a whole bunch of CNC props in that size and diameter. So you can check them out for, propellers, or check out Dasboata. He has a supersonic, prop. I know it was a 3-blade. He now went to 2-blade. So do about 65, which, run the boat super dry and, best conditions. So, that's what the people with the stock, but with stock ESC, stock motor. Now, and then I eventually end up switching this out and going to a Castle XL X2. And the reason why I went to that is it's not because it's, better, which, you got the data, you got some extra programs and stuff like that, which is nice. So, but my main thing was I wanted to run more, I wanted the data logging so I can read the amperage, the propellers, and then I'm capable up to 400 amps with that. So that means I can start going bigger on my propellers and kind of start pushing it more, so I have more to work with on my amperage rate. So once I did that, so then I went to a 2315, so slightly bigger, and which this 2315 and this 2414. So the 2314, I got my best at 64 miles an hour, and the boat was moving. I also had timing set at 12 degrees. It did quite well. I was quite impressed with it. And then I got a 2415, which I was still kind of playing with that on the stock motor. Winter came in, so challenges with temperatures and stuff like that, batteries. So, but if you have XLX2 in there, the 2315 was one of my fastest propellers. It cavitated a little bit, but it ran the best. Low temperatures. For the most part, there's a couple times where I did have a peak of about 130, but I was running 15 degrees timing. But if you're regular timing, 10 degrees, you'll be okay. So kind of covering over some of those props. And then recently, then I ran this one, which this was 57 miles an hour, which is a 6314 3-blade, which actually did really good. I did like this prop. It wasn't the fastest, but it was kind of a good prop. Temperatures weren't too bad. I think they're about 120, but not too bad working off the stock motor. So now so then I came across this 1250 from a Arma car. Size and everything fit, stock. So I was able to slide the old cooling jacket off the 950, put the cooling jacket on the new one, and then do a quick run. I didn't tune anything. I'm working on tunes, I'm working stuff, and going back out. Now with the upgraded motor, since the boat was running much faster, I did take two crashes where the boat did blow over, and that's where I started kind of noticing like the turn fins are really are thin metal. Surprisingly, I kind of had problems before of them bending. So now since I'm going to be pushing more, tuning more, cut some carbon fiber return fins. Just took this one, mocked it up to 2mm carbon fiber and cut my own fins, trying to go for something stronger that won't bend. Then also the stock mount, I took some angle aluminum, found in my local hardware store, and made my own, mounts as well, because those were bending as well. It's like, I'm not sure, but I have something new coming in for that. So, that was kind of the next to-do list. And then I've heard from Offshore Electrics with Steve and a couple people that this rudder is breaking. I haven't had no problems, but I was going to throw in a stiffener brace right here to, my suspicion that it's breaking right there. So, but again, if you're running stock, slight modified, none of this is kind of a problem. But, if you're planning to kind of push this, boat harder, faster, some things kind of work back here to kind of recommend. And then, of course, knowing me, I got a new rudder. I'm kind of working on a design template. I'm mounting plus a TFL, stinger as well. So this is what I'm slowly starting to work on. I got a couple, prototypes coming. So, that part's coming soon. But, we're on to this motor. We're going to kind of test it, mess around, and see what it can do. So, we'll kind of go from there.